It's still okay. I'm gonna get a description. Share it out on social media. That's right. I need to mute this.
Oh, I can't find the go live one.
Yeah, I can't. It's not. Oh, it's because it's private right now.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
That makes sense.
Yep.
Okay.
Up to 74 subscribers on our YouTube channel.
Up to 74 now?
Getting big time. Big time.
Okay, link copied to clipboard.
I'm perusing my all name team, man. I'm telling you, liking it more and more.
We need to maybe set a schedule for what we want our next few podcasts to be, just to get back on that grind.
I'm liking the Jason topic one too, though. That's gonna be
fun. Jason will be a fun one for seeding.
That one can take precedent. I mean, the all name team can just be whenever we got. I mean, it probably would be a 30-minute or less podcast. But we say that all the time, though, don't we?
Oh yeah. I got to contact Doug for once they figure out how divisions are going to be and what the setup is.
Oh, sure. Yeah, Doug always has that pretty well. He's pretty accurate with that.
Okay, Steve, I'm just going to make us public.
Okay.
So we will be live, but I'm going to share stuff here.
All righty.
Okay, post on the Instagram story.
I keep checking WIA to see if the regional assignments, usually they're out by now. It's not out yet.
I think they're still figuring out how divisions are going to be set up and whatnot. But no, we need Doug on for that, then Jason. And then I think, yeah, a little the all name team will be
all
fun.
Name team. Yeah, that's gonna be fun. I gotta go back over. Oop. There we go.
Remember, we're live.
Yep.
Oh, funny.
Got a few people already asking, where are you guys?
Oh, that's good. Right?
Yep, absolutely. Got 6 or 7 of our faithful followers that are curious.
Okay, I got to get the form on. Okay. Link in bio. Subscribe to comment.
Should probably have track open.
Oh no, come on. I did that on my.
I'll man the comments today.
Thank you.
I'll be a little better on that this time.
No, you did great on it last time.
I keep all those people that were saying bad stuff off.
All the no, it auto moderates a little bit.
Oh, does it really?
Yeah.
Nice. Gets rid of the cuss words.
Yeah, Steve, I accidentally posted that on my personal Instagram page, so I set us back a second.
Oh, no worries. Let's go. Matt Verbaten's already got a comment on there.
Oh,
That boy is leading the comment. What do you got? The comment tally so far for this session. Nice job. 1-0.
here, while we wait, I'll screen share the 152 bracket and see if people want to give their opinions on what they think the best match will be. Is that on? Yeah, that's on 152. Okay.
Oop. Gotta trim my screens down here.
Came in duly unprepared on this one. It's fine. Hey, if anyone has any suggestions on a non-Zoom related live stream that we could do, that would be amazing. Something that we could like set up early and get the link out early. I know that probably should just be my job to do, but
Talking trash in the comments. Nice.
I'll love to hear it.
I think I'm excited. I'm gonna go as far as right now. I'm gonna go watch Malcolm and Bear Bennett.
You're gonna go. Oh yeah.
yeah.
Oh, I mean, while we're live, that was a pretty good podcast as well.
Oh, it's a great podcast. That was 2 weeks ago, right? We did that one.
Yeah, 2 weeks. 2 weeks ago now.
Yeah, Briggs.
No, 3 weeks ago, because we had
Briggs.
the Reagan coaches, then we had Shannon on, and then we had Shane on.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Briggs is going to be wrestling a gosh, there's a Grunfelder. Is that the name? Or not wrestling, but sparring with. And I'm like, wait, Grunfelder. No, not Grunfelder. Darn it. I'm gonna look it up now. But he was a guy who wrestled. It was pretty darn good. Briggs. Yeah, so they can punch, but not until they're on the ground.
That's July 30th, right?
I think so. Yeah. All right.
Okay, we are good on Instagram. We are good on Twitter. Just let me post the link in Facebook.
Shoot, I can't find it.
What was the Wayne's World thing you said last time before we went live?
I don't remember.
Oh man, it was like before they were going like live on air.
Those just come to me. I can't really manufacture those.
Okay, you ready? I got links posted.
All right, let's rock. We got some fans already on.
All right, beautiful. Love to hear it. All right, folks. We got a 152 through heavyweight tonight. 56 matches, first round of Podiumwinner Palooza. Steve, I'm going to share the form on the description real quick, but for those of you that want your voices heard, you want to keep voting, I think I'm going to keep that form open until tomorrow night for the first round of voting. Over 300 people have voted, Steve.
That's awesome. Yeah, I got to find that.
So we are rolling on that. Of course, I did not vote in it because I think that would be a conflict of interest. And also, I mean, me and you just literally have our own bracket.
Yeah, that's true. I know I voted on it. Sorry.
No.
But I did it quickly, so they might be different than what I had here.
I guess you're 1 out of 300. Yeah.
There you go. There you go. I'm just being full disclosure. I won't vote next round.
Make your own picks here. Oh, also, for those of you tuning in, if you want to make comments on this, make sure to subscribe to get in on the action. I know Matt Verbaten's already in here. I need to get the comments up here soon.
Oh, I got him. Tim Spray made a comment already. He's got two comments. So the comment lead right now is 3-2. 3-2. Matt's in the lead.
Oh, and the night's just getting started too.
That's right. That'll be the last I take for the running total.
Okay, view live in control room. All right, I'm going to put my notebook over here.
Hey, if you're listening to and you have a suggestion, Teague and I are going to do a podcast for an all name team. This can be throughout the history of Wisconsin wrestling to current wrestlers. And if you ever have any suggestions, and yes, Tim, I do have a famous Wisconsin Rapids guy from the late 1980s. So I'll just leave that right there. Don't put his name on there. I don't want Teague to know it. All name team.
Are you talking? All right. Well, let's get into this here, Steve-O. What do you say? You got 56 matches tonight. I think we can get through. We got through about an hour and a half last time. I think people are willing to tune in until about 8:45.
Sure.
We had a fun time with it, but let me make sure I got my bracket. I gotta get the master bracket set up here. Also, 145, 126, and 113, I think are going to be my favorite brackets to watch in that lower half for sure. But I'm going to screen share.
On a personal messaging system, Matt guessed the name that I said for the Wisconsin Rapids guy that's on the all name team, and he got it right. So,
okay, here's our 152-pound bracket. We'll go back to me and Steve here. Everyone can get a little look at that. But first up here, we have number 1 seed Zane Licht of Lodi. Remember, we did randomize the seeds kind of based on their placements, but Zane Licht drew the 1 seed, obviously one state in Division 2. He's facing off against Torrin Vandenbush of Random Lake. Torrin Vandenbush won our play-in, placed 6th in Division 3. And Steve, I personally didn't have a lot of notes on this one just because Zane Licht is kind of a tank in his own right. I think he really made a mark around the state this year. Vandenbush had a lot of solid matches that I think we'll be talking about more in the second round, but I just think it's fair to say that I give the nod to Licht in this one.
Agreed.
Hey, we got Jason Champagne.
Hey,
Coleman head coach, I believe, on. Yeah.
Is he
Jason,
really?
glad to have you. I believe he did. I think they might have named him the head. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Well, let's get that confirmed right here on the show, right?
Speaking of that, that's another person we might have on our podcast, Steve, is retired Coleman assistant coach Tim Gold.
Yep. And we got to get Casper on too, right? I might as well get him on together.
Get him back on.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, that would just be, we wouldn't even really need to talk on that show.
Casper was awesome. I think if there's one guy that knows less about technology than me, it's him. That's why I like having him on.
All right. Next up here, we have Elijah Lucio of Stratford and Hunter Jonio of Luxembourg Casco. I think that stuck out to me, Steve. We got to see Lucio wrestle at Bi-State. Jonio wrestled at Bi-State as well, but Jonio placing 3rd at state at 152 pounds behind Licht and Arnold Portage, who we'll be talking about later. His performance at the end of the year really stuck out to me. And I know you have a result that kind of shows the opposite, but I think I'd stick with Jonio in this, assuming that we're wrestling this the week after individual state.
Oh yeah. Hey, our first coin flip, because I got Lucio, because Lucio beat Bieber and Bieber beat Junio by tech fall. So that's my call. So we got an early flip.
All right. I'm heads, your tails.
There. Nice. Moving on.
Oh, look at that. Oh, all right, Steve, you're 1-0 on the night for that. So Lucio moving on in the master bracket. Next up here, we have Charlie Millard of Homestead, a Will Bieber of Coleman. I got a chance to watch Bieber wrestle a few times this year. A pretty impressive wrestler in his own right, but I got to see Millard wrestle at state, Steve, and there's a lot of hype about him, of course, going into state, and I think he lived up to it and then some, and even better. He's just a great kid too. I would take Millard in a matchup here.
Yeah, agreed. Millard, I've seen him wrestle live multiple times, but I'm just intimidated by his warm up. So based on his warm up and scare factor, I'm going with Millard.
right, so we got Millard moving on in the master bracket.
He's a beast, right? That was by the way, that was one heck of a finals match.
Next up, we have Lowell Arnold of Portage and Tristan Dreyer of Cadott. Arnold, runner up in Division 2. Dreyer placed, that would be if he's the 13 seed, would have placed 5th in Division 3. But Arnold's performance against Licht, I mean, as much good things as we have to say about Licht, Arnold put up 3 good matches against him in the postseason, Steve. And I couldn't find many common results between Arnold and Dreyer, but I think just from what I saw results-wise for Arnold, I'd take him over Dreyer in a matchup.
I got to watch Arnold wrestle 3 weeks in a row. He's a tactician, right? Really good. And I think he's going to wrestle at Parkside. So I'm agreed. I'm going with Arnold as well.
Next up here, 3 seed versus 14 seed. We have Aiden Brzezinski of DeSoto, state champion at Division 3 versus Owen Wasley of St. Croix Central. He would have placed, man, I think I might be mixing up my seat. So, he placed 5th in Division 2. Yeah, Division 2 at 152 pounds. I mixed up my St. Croix. That's what it was going to be. But no, we got Steve Brzezinski wrestle at Bi-State. Obviously beat Joe Pinky of Aquinas in the finals. If we were talking about Devin Wasley, it might be a different story here, but I'm going to give the edge to the senior out of DeSoto in this one.
Yeah, DeSoto Pirates. Interviewed for a job once at DeSoto early on in my teaching career. That was before Aiden was born, though, by the way.
Next up, we have Hunter Rudzinski of Waterford and Joe Pinky of Aquinas. I think if this tournament were a real thing, Steve, this would be a match that I have circled for sure. I was going through this one, and I mean, it's just you're picking nits when you're trying to decide a winner between this one. The one thing that hurt when I was trying to find results was Pinky did get hurt at Cheesehead, which is where we could have found some more common results. But I still like Pinky's resume a little bit overall. Runner up in D3, like I said, lost to Brzezinski. Rudzinski placed 4th in Division 1 in what was a good 152-pound bracket. But something about Pinky's resume, I'd still give him the edge here.
Yeah, me too. Tough wrestler, just seems to put it on. He shines when the lights are brightest, right?
Then you learn with the law guys, you don't want to take it to the mat with them. That's right. Next up, I mean, another good matchup here, 7 versus 10. Carson Otis of Kimberly placed 3rd at 152 pounds. Wyatt Ingham of Amory placed 4th at 152 in Division 2, I should say. They all were at 152 pounds, Teague. But I think Ingham just had a pretty consistent year. I know there was a common result between them. But I would take Otis even. I know the result was early on in the year. I would take Otis just on the basis it seemed like, looking at it results wise, he just got better as the year went along. And if this is taking place the week after state, I got to take Otis with the momentum and on the big stage.
Yeah, I'll actually say that result. Otis beating him in sudden victory, which, that's a coin flip. If they wrestle 3 times, it's going to be a coin flip not coin flip, but could switch every time. But he beat him in sudden victory early in the year, so I'm going to go with Otis as well.
Then our last matchup at 152 pounds, we have Dylan Ellefson of La Crosse, the 15 seed, 5th place finisher in Division 1, versus Mitch Messenbrink of Arrowhead, 1st place finisher in Division 1 and a 3-time state champion. I mean, anyone who's watching, if they haven't seen Messenbrink wrestle, you need to get on track and do it. But we're going to be talking about Messenbrink for 3 more matches, Steve. I'm just going to say Messenbrink for now.
There you go. Agreed. Tough 152 in Brown bracket.
And then I'm going to fill this out. We're not going to fill out the bracket on the fly, but I'll do a little screen share. And we'll just run through what the quarterfinals are going to look like. Then we'll move on to 160. So we have Zane Licht of Lodi, who will be taking on Elijah Lucio of Stratford. That's 2 bi-state finalists right there. We have Charlie Millard of Homestead versus Lowell Arnold of Portage. Aiden Brzezinski of DeSoto and Joe Pinky of Aquinas, which would be the D3 finals rematch. And then Carson Otis of Kimberly and Mitch Messenbrink of Arrowhead. Also, folks, if you have a horse in the race that lost the first round, if you see the brackets, this is double elimination. So everyone gets to wrestle twice. So be sure to tune in next week or, in future weeks as well. Everyone gets 2 matches here.
Boy, if only that was in the real world.
Okay. Next
Wish
up.
we had some guys on the Coaches Association board that could get working on that.
Cough, Matt. No. All right. 160 pounds here. I mean, the first thing I think of when I see 160 pounds, Steve, is just how tough Division 1 was this year at this weight class. Because even Magnus Kwakinen won the play-in pretty easily as the 16 seed. He does take on Ethan Riddle of Germantown right away. But just looking at that matchup, so Riddle, state champion in Division 1, Kwakinen finished 6th in Division 1. Riddle did beat Willis, Cooper Willis of Union Grove, who we'll be talking about later. He beat him 12-0. And Riddle beat Willis. Willis beat Kwakinen 12-0. I'm using that.
Oh, as a common, sure.
That score, sure. Yeah, that common opponent. Yeah.
Yeah, Riddle, tough wrestler, great. Teague, remember Germantown as a team? They went to that tough tournament at Homestead, right? I don't remember that one that was called that we previewed. And then the next day they went to another tournament. It was like, what the heck? So they wrestled till like midnight. The next day they went to another tournament. I don't even remember the 2 tournaments.
I forgot I know exactly what weekend you're talking about though.
Yeah.
Also, for 8 people in listening right now, if you want to share this link, that would be beautiful. Let's try to get more people in on the conversation. Try to get more people listening on some hypothetical wrestling matches. Okay, next up we have Ashton Meese of Riverdale, Ryan Doziel of Marshfield. Of course, our 8-9 matchups are always going to be 2 third-place finishers. Meese was 3rd in Division 3. Doziel was 3rd in Division 1. And Steve, I want to go Doziel right away, but Meese kind of made me take a second glance. He had a pretty good resume. I think it was a common opponent though at Bi-State that kind of made me change my mind. I can't think of it off the top of my head. And also, I don't know if anyone beats Ryan Doziel on his feet. There's probably 1 or 2 in this bracket, but I mean, I can't pick against Doziel in this round. And I know there's a common opponent as well that keeps me from picking Meese in this. So I'm going Ryan Doziel.
I'm going Meese, Teague, and I'm going for the tough factor here, right? So Meese wrestled 8 matches at state, lost early, had to wrestle all the way back, took 5th. And then at state.
Wait, he wrestled 8 matches at Bi-State?
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. What did I say?
Okay.
8 wrestles at state. Oh, yeah, he said 8 wrestled 8 matches at Bi-State. Sorry, I'm kind of I apologize, everybody. I got some kind of funk going on. I sound like I've been smoking for 10 years straight. But a little head fog going. But Meese wrestled 8 matches at Bi-State. And he took 3rd at state the hard way, right? Lost in the quarterfinals, wrestled all the way back the hard way, took 3rd. Just off the tough factor alone, I'm going with Meese.
Okay, coin flip here. Meese moves on.
Nice.
Okay, next up here we have Braden Ott versus Pearson Shablinski. Ott was the runner-up in Division 1 from Nicolay. Pearson Shablinski of Wabeno Leona, 3 Lakes, placed 4th in Division 3.
Ooh, wait, hold on, Teague, I got to stop you. I got the gallery is disagreeing with my pick. Both of them are saying Doziel by major or by tech fall. So I might have upset the wrestling world by forcing it to the coin flip.
Well, hey, it's it'll happen. We have 100.
Did I just pick against Marshfield again?
Yeah, you did.
Oh my gosh, Teague.
Yeah, oh man, I might need to post these brackets tomorrow. I might need to pull an all-nighter and get these brackets put out.
You think I'd learn my lesson, right?
I have to agree. I got to go with the verbatims and spray here. But yeah, Tim was right. Germantown wrestled at the Highlander, and I forgot what tournament it was the next day, but
yeah, crazy.
They wrestled 2 days in a row, and it was a tough tournament that next day too. But
it wasn't easy.
Yeah.
All right, I interrupted you. Go ahead, Teague.
I'm gonna agree with the gallery on this one, Steve, for that 8-9 matchup.
All right, whatever.
We got Braden Ott versus Pearson Shablinski. And, I got to see Shablinski wrestle a really tough match against Brett Bach from Rapids up at the Cutler Classic in New London. And I think one of the reasons that matchup was close was because they wrestle each other all the time. I think against Braden Ott, if he happened to choose down, I think that'd be game over there. Even if I think Braden Ott could somehow hit a cradle on his feet here, I'd got to give it to the D1 runner-up, Mr. Ott of Nicolay.
All right, I'm agreeing with you on this one. I feel like I got to go with you the rest of the time.
This one's a fun one. We got Brody Hemauer of DeForest and Eddie Symes of Amory. And again, we talk about D1 160 kind of being the class of things here, but I would side with Symes on this one. Again, I had a hard time finding similar or mutual results to go by. Hemauer did place fifth in Division 1. Symes was the runner-up in D2, but it seems as the year went along, Steve, Symes got better and better, and he just kept dominating in his matches, even on his way to the finals. And then, of course, he ran into Braden Scholes, but that'll happen. And just based on their momentum at the end of the year, I would give it to Symes in what would be a really, really good 4-13 matchup.
Agreed. Hemauer is, he works a lot with his dad. His dad's kind of he's a student of the game, let's just say, right? I kind of went off of common opponents. I thought Hemauer wrestled Sinclair twice this year. I got to see both matches, one on video, one live. And I thought Sinclair is a beast, right? We know that, but it seemed like Sinclair kind of just took it to him. And I'm just going off a common score of Symes. Symes lost 5-3 to Sinclair. So based off that result, which is, take it for what it is, I'm going to go with Symes as well.
Okay, so we both got Symes. These D1 guys are going to do damage on the backside, I would say.
That's right. And Matt Verbatim disagrees with us. He says Hemauer by 4. He says tough on his feet.
He is tough on his feet, but man, Symes, every match I saw Symes and he impressed me.
That's right. You can throw the challenge brick when it's split. When it's split, you can throw the challenge brick. If we both pick the guy, you can't throw the challenge brick.
Next up here, we got, I agree with that. I wish there was a way we could do a challenge brick on YouTube. We got a 3-seed Cole Marco taking on 14-seed Bowen Rothbauer of Bloomer Colfax. Marco, I mean, what else is there to say? 4-time state champ from St. Croix Falls.
Had him on the podcast.
We did have him on the podcast. Yeah, about a month and a half ago now.
He was awesome.
And Rothbauer, he would have placed 5th in Division 2. Rothbauer had a really good year, though, Steve. I got a chance to look at his resume, and he had a good year. But I mean, A, it's Cole Marco. B, they also have 2 matches against each other that Marco won. So I just, not like I needed the evidence here, but figured I'd throw it out.
Right. Agreed. I'm sorry.
I'm assuming you're also taking.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, T, I was thinking about it. We could make this decision right here. We could, if you and I are split, we could have the people in the comments be the tiebreaker. And if that is the case, you could go back and make that switch earlier. That's I'll let you make that call, though. You think about it, a few brackets, and then we can decide on it.
Oh, so because it is a 30-second delay,
right? So therefore, if you and I are split, for example, Dojo and Mies, you could go back and we had 2 votes for Spray and Verbatim both feel that Dojo would have won handedly, right?
Hey,
so that'd be the
I can make a poll. Because I'm on the control board right now, Steve.
Yeah.
I can make a poll.
Okay.
So maybe we do that. Maybe we make that I guess, do we have Mises win? Is that grandfathered in?
I don't know. That's up to you. How about you?
No, let's make that our first one.
All right.
But also we do have a fan poll, but this one is like a live fan poll.
Well, both Verbatim and Sprayed disagree with us over our Hemauer pick, but this doesn't matter because we both picked Symes, so that one, their vote doesn't matter.
So the crowd is going to be our. Okay, folks, we put our first poll in here.
Spartan, win the crowd, win your freedom.
Okay, the only thing is I can't do a new poll until that one is done.
Oh, okay. All right.
So we'll keep playing around with it.
Bet. This is it. We're learning as we go.
No, that was a golden idea though. You're full of them, Steve.
I'm full of something. All right. How about Evans and Stewart?
We got 6 seed Cash Stewart, runner up in Division 3, and then 11 seed Mason Evans of Tomahawk placed 4th in Division 2. All the good things we said about Marco, Steve, and Stewart took him down to the wire. I mean, that's I think that's for this round. Evans had a good year, but for this round, I think Stewart, not only the match against Marco, but just his body of work in general, I would take Stewart. I think it could be like a major in this one.
Yeah, the only note I have is that Stewart beat Willis, and we know how you feel about Willis as well. New commenter to the section, James Goucher.
I think he's a Fort guy.
Yeah, well, he is. Right down the road. Got a tough wrestler in his own kid coming up. Going to be a junior, going to be a senior. I take that back. Putting in the work.
Okay, next up we have Carter Friend of Whitewater and Cooper Willis of Union Grove. So Friend as the 7 seed placed 3rd in Division 2. Willis of Union Grove placed 4th in Division 1. And I mean, 160 was tough in general because I was talking about D1 being like the class of things here, Steve. But I mean, I would still this is still a tough matchup here that I would still have to give the edge to Willis though. And I think I may have looked over, but did they wrestle at mid states at all? Or
they did not, excuse me. And that's the only thing I have is that Friend took 5th at mid states and Willis took 3rd at mid states. Excuse me.
I think I'd take Willis in a 2-3 point match there.
Agreed.
Also, Mr. Braden Sonentag, who kind of started the idea for this, well, a little bit. He said we should do like a who's number 1 style. I didn't think he'd plan on it being a 16-person bracket, but he wanted to see a little more score predictions. So I'm gonna try to toss those out there for the man.
Sure.
And then last one here, Calvin Hargrove of Aquinas, Braden Scholes of Kewaskum. Calvin Hargrove had himself a year. I think he ended up being a cheesehead finalist at 160 pounds. But when we're talking about Braden Scholes, a 3-time state champion at Division 2, see if you want to get some water right now so he doesn't pass out like while we're going live. That'd be a disaster. I'm going to take Braden Scholes. I'm going to assume that Steve's taking Braden Scholes as well. I guess we'll find out once he comes back. But let me screen share the 160-pound bracket real quick. Okay, so our quarterfinals. We're gonna end this poll right now. There was 3 votes on it. We're gonna take that. We're gonna take that from the gallery. So Ethan Riddle of Germantown will be taking on Ryan Doziel of Marshfield. We got Braden Ott of Nicolay taking on Eddie Symes of Amory, Cole Marco of St. Croix Falls, and Cash Stewart of Poynette. The D3, I think that's our second D3 finals rematch in a row between 152 and 160. And then we have Cooper Willis of Union Grove taking on Braden Scholes of Kewaskum. Steve, I assumed you were going to pick Braden Scholes. Was that a fair assumption?
That was fair. And I apologize, everybody. I got a little choked up.
It's an emotional sport.
It is a very sensitive topic going on right now.
Oh. Okay, moving on to 170 pounds. We'll keep the screen on here first, but first matchup, we have Aiden Sinclair of Milton, D1 state champ, taking on Bo Hansen of Mineral Point. Our play-in winner took 6th place in Division 3. Hansen, got to have a couple conversations with him on Instagram. Great kid, got to win a tournament named after his grandfather who passed away, which is awesome. The Rick Lovinger Invitational. In this hypothetical matchup here, Steve, we're talking about Aiden Sinclair, who's not just one of the best pound for pound wrestlers in the state, but he's making waves across the nation right now.
That's pretty impressive. How do you argue with that? I just did think of this though. Imagine if I know Sinclair is getting be a pretty big kid, and Scholes seems like he's kind of not going to get much bigger. But man, wouldn't a Sinclair Scholes match be awesome?
Oh, I'd love to see it happen. We need to. Could that matchup happen anywhere?
Well, like I said, I just think Sinclair is just.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just a big dude, and he's and Scholes is a little bit more slow. You know, I just don't think Scholes is going to get much bigger.
Sinclair looks like a 182 pounder at 170, to say the least. Next up, we have David Moline of Aquinas and Casey Gish of West Bend East. And Steve, I got to say, Casey Gish, kind of a quiet third place finish. Like, I ended up looking at his resume and I can't believe I kind of missed over him most of the year.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, great finish to the year, good year all around. I would still say, looking at their common opponent, Mr. Denny from Marshfield, Moline did have a bigger score differential against Denny than Gish did. He had a better score against him, and I don't know. That could obviously change based on styles or whatnot, but I've seen Moline wrestle too, and I'd give Moline the edge.
Sure. I'm gonna go based off of how he did at state. I'm gonna go with Gish. He like you said, just went super quiet, but took third place. So I'm gonna go to not the coin flip. Let's go to the panel.
Let's go to the gallery.
Go to the gallery. Who we got? We got Gish or Moline.
Oh, David Moline.
Now, can we wait on that for a little bit, Teague? Or
yeah, of course.
The votes are in. It looks like Dozel's going to move on back at the previous one. Only 3 votes.
Hey, no, it's 3 votes better than 0, Steve. So we got that one up for our 8-9 matchup. Next one up, we got Devin Wasley of St. Croix Central and Cole Klimick of Coleman. Wasley was the runner-up in Division 2, 170 pounds. Klimick placed 4th in Division 3. Division 3, 170, very deep bracket, by the way. Obviously, as if Bo Hansen was like the play-in winner. If we have Mr. Jason Champagne on, if he's still listening, if he has any thoughts, would love to hear those. But I had to give the edge to Wasley here, Steve, and Klimick. Like I got to see him wrestle a couple of times. I got to see Coleman at a couple of tournaments, but it's just hard to pick against a Minnesota recruit. And after seeing him wrestle, he's a Minnesota recruit for a reason.
Yep, and a great finals match against a really tough wrestler. So I agree.
Next one up here. So we got Devin Wasley moving on. Cameron Denis of Marshfield and Tyler Dormerman of Boyceville. Dormerman, the runner-up in a Division 3. Denis placed 5th in a Division 1 at 170. I gave the edge to Dormerman in this one. What did I have? Okay, so Denis lost to David Moline from Aquinas. I believe that was at Bi-State. And Dormerman placed higher than Moline, though they didn't wrestle their matches against each other. It seemed like Dormerman he did better against those common opponents. And again, you just got to kind of go with the weird result stuff when thinking of a match like this. And I'm taking Tyler Dormerman.
Yeah, same thing. I remember when I looked at this, and it was a little while ago, right? It's last week, but it was this guy beat this guy, who beat this guy, who beat this guy, and I can't remember what it all was. But in the end, I have Dormerman circled and moving on.
I'm going to delete this post off my personal Facebook that I accidentally put. Okay, next up, we got so Dormerman versus Wasley. Oh, that'll be fun. I'm sure they probably wrestle each other too. We have Brant Craycraft of Mishicot and Ryan Roy of Wabeno Leona, 3 Lakes. And of course, in the same bracket, Craycraft was the D3 state champ. Ryan Roy placed 5th in the Division 3, 3-time podium winner for Mr. Roy.
Yep.
But we just talked about Tyler Dormerman. Craycraft beat him 2-0 in the finals. Dormerman did beat Roy 10-5. And again, just even the placement difference, that's enough to give the edge to Craycraft here.
Yeah, agreed. Common opponents. Craycraft's moving on.
Next up, Ben Otto of Brookfield Central, the 11th seed, placed fourth in D1, taking on Noah Mulvaney of Arrowhead. And again, we'll be talking about both these guys next week as well. I mean, just right off the bat, we know how good Mulvaney is. If you want to look at results, Sinclair beat Mulvaney 14-9, and he teched Otto in like 425, I think it was. I think that's fair to assume that Mulvaney beats Otto.
Yeah, I agree with your assumption.
Next up, a couple of matchups where they're just rematches from state, so we can fly through these kind of quickly. But Silas Daly of Plymouth and Brandon Meister of Spooner Webster. Daly placed third, Meister placed fourth, and in that third place match, Daly majored Meister, and I think in a rematch, that's maybe Meister makes it closer, but I'd still give the edge to Daly.
Yeah, I agree. And Daly's only a sophomore, right, Teague? And he's just impressed us throughout this whole year.
Coached by
Mr. Energy himself,
Andy Crivolone.
I was making you say his last name because I always screw it up.
And then last matchup here, another D2 rematch. We got Trey Shanebeck of Luxembourg Casco and Owen Heiser of Evansville. We know how good Owen Heiser is, and he texted Shanebeck at state, so that makes this explanation short, sweet, and to the point for me at least.
Teague, I think you can put Moline in because we have 5 votes, and it's 4-1 for Moline.
Oh, perfect, because I accidentally wrote Moline down anyways.
Nice.
Hey, 10 concurrent viewers. We made it. We hit the big time.
That's right. Double dig.
Real quick here. Quarterfinals for 170. Aiden Sinclair of Milton, David Moline of Aquinas, Devin Wasley, St. Croix Central versus Tyler Dormerman of Boyceville, Brant Craycraft of Mishicot versus Noah Mulvaney of Arrowhead, Silas Daly of Plymouth versus Owen Heiser of Evansville. That is going to be a stacked quarterfinals.
Mr. Goucher, if you're still listening, what weight do you predict your son's going to be wrestling this coming year? Go ahead and throw that out before we move to 182 pounds.
I was going to say, I wish
a little fan interaction going on here.
Matt and Michelle. Yeah. Sorry. I'll just say Matt. I know it's Matt listening. I don't know if Michelle Verbatim's also listening.
I'm going to guess not.
Okay. Next up, if people want to get a look at 182 quick while we go through the first matchup here, but I might not be a quick first matchup. We got Clayton Whiting of O'Connell Falls and Gavin Cole of River Falls. We'll be talking both about them more next week. I think Clayton Whiting will be able to talk about for 4 matches in a row, but got to see Gavin Cole wrestle Steve, and he was hurt, but I'd love to see him at full strength. I'm gonna take Clayton Whiting.
Yeah, no poll needed. Go with Whiting.
Next up, we have Michael Alexander of De Pere, Riley Clark of Aquinas, 8 versus 9. I mean the match right away. Clark placed third in Division 3. Sam Schwabe of Random Lake won that bracket. Alexander beat Schwabe at the Cutler Classic 9-6 in what was a great match. I was fortunate enough to be there. I give the edge to Alexander.
Yeah, and I have also that Alexander beat Trenton Gibbons, who was a finalist twice earlier in the year. So I'm going to go with Alexander as well.
Next matchup we have up here, we have Ian Smith of Northwestern versus Jacob Manning of Ithaca Weston. Smith, 2 years in high school, 2-time state runner-up. Just happened to have played Whiting in the finals. But just looking at the matches, common opponents, I guess. Manning did lose to Owen Hughshite of Darlington Blackhawk early on. That was a pin. I don't know how that pin would have went down necessarily, but Smith did beat Hughshite. His losses were to Ramberg, Ryder, Rogotsky, and Whiting. And I mean, Smith is just impressing right now. I'd give it to Ian Smith of Northwestern.
Yeah, agreed. And I'm really excited for this potential quarterfinals matchup next with the match we're going to talk about.
Yeah, so next up here, we have 4-seed Mitch Thompson of Kewanee, runner-up in Division 3, taking on Sam Barrett of Hamilton, placed 5th in Division 1. Let me go to my notes here real quick. I mean, I guess the one note I have for this, Thompson did go the distance with Mirasola, and his only other losses were to Sam Schwabe along the way. And
Sure.
I think I'll take a deeper dive into Thompson's schedule as we look at the next matchup. But I mean, how do you argue against that?
Right. Agreed.
Are you excited for the Thompson Smith matchup?
I am. Yeah, that one's gonna be a good one.
And it's one of our cross state matchups too.
That's right.
Okay, next up we have a Connor Mirasola BW.
What's BW?
I put BW next to Mirasola. WBW I meant. Yeah, West, not Baldwin Woodville.
Right.
Okay, I'm gonna get our faces back on the
there you
screen
go.
here.
We don't need to see that.
We have a Connor Mirasola, West Bend West, Grant Cook of Amory, and I mean it's Connor Mirasola. I mean, what else is there? Grant Cook had a great year. We'll talk more about him next week, but I mean, look.
My only note is this: he had a 28-second pin in the finals of D1 state.
We're moving on. Also, yeah, folks, like I brought up earlier, this is double elimination. So I think our goal moving forward, and probably even in future years, this first round we'll probably try to fly through a little quicker. And then the rounds after that will add a little more heat to, for sure.
Sure.
Next up, Evan Danowski of Waterford, Trenton Gibbons of Pulaski. This might be a poll one, Steve, because you're going to be kind of weirded out by my logic.
Really? Okay.
Gibbons won in the ultimate tiebreaker 5-4 at state.
Yep.
I still like Danowski's resume on the year more. And
hey,
I think
hey Teague, hold on. While you're talking, start writing the poll, typing the poll up.
I think Evan Danowski would win that hypothetical rematch.
Okay. That's interesting you say that. You're right. I'm going with Gibbons because he did have the ultimate tiebreaker win, but ultimate tiebreaker is that's a guy, it's a fingertip holding on to a guy, or it's a stalling call, right? It's crazy. And Danowski did really impress me. So I think that's a good one to send to the poll for the gallery.
You got her. The poll is posted. Okay, next up here. Oh yeah, our faces are on. Okay. Don't need to fill that one in. This one, we have Owen Hushite of Darlington Blackhawk and Cole Hansen of Delavan Darien. Steve, a little non-wrestling note, I guess, that you can bring up in this one, but real quick, I'll talk about my match stuff here. Hansen did beat Hushite at sectionals. Hushite did win the rematch at state 5-2. Going off the fact that it happened later on, I'd give it to Hushite in a rubber match if it happened a week later at this hypothetical tournament.
Yeah, but I'm going to agree with you just because of that result, and it happened later. Cole Hansen, a little shout out, multi-sport athlete. Love our multi-sport athletes here on the podcast.
That's right. Yeah, I got a little baseball posting on So we got Hushite moving on. And then the last one here, we got Jackson Ormond of Stratford, Sam Schwabe of Random Lake. Schwabe did beat Ormond 6-2 at state. I mean, Division III state champ. I think, I look at 182. The three state champs are really, they're pretty stacked in this bracket. So I think that's all I'll need to say on that. We'll talk more about them in coming weeks. But I have Sam Schwabe moving on. Steve.
Hey, and Teague, we have, I think based off of our voting, we already have 4 votes in, and we have 100% for Trenton Gibbons.
Wow. Yeah, I'm gonna end that poll. We're gonna Trenton Gibbons moves on. Steve, think about next week. We're gonna have we need to find a way to do these polls still. Like there's going to be a lot of more swing matches, I think, as we get closer in matchups.
Agreed.
Okay. So, real quick, 182-pound quarterfinals that we'll be doing 2 weeks 2 weeks from now.
2 weeks.
Yep. We have a Clayton Whiting versus Michael Alexander. Michael Alexander, good wrestler. It's still Clayton Whiting. Ian Smith versus Mitch Thompson, Connor Mirasola versus Trenton Gibbons, and Sam Schwabe versus Owen Hushite.
And James Goucher says his boy's wrestling 145. I don't know, Jim. Your boy's getting a little big there. A lot of muscle popping on. 145 might be a little rough, but we'll see.
Okay, 195 pounds. Steve, I mean, 195.
That's crazy.
We just got yeah. 195 was ridiculous trying to go through results here. And it's one of those where no round is going to be fun in terms of, well, it's fun, but it's just going to be like, how do you make a choice? We'll give the folks at home a good look at the bracket real quick while we run. Steve, I just want to say this 116 matchup would be a fun first round match to see. I think.
Absolutely.
I think it could still end up being a major decision, but I'd want to say, so we have Rafe Smart of Stratford, D3 state champ, Blake Theory of Prairie du Chien, place 6 in Division 2, 195. I mean, that might be from 1 through 6, the toughest weight class. Very, very well could be. And we can talk more about that, as we get deeper and we get more stats on our side, but Theory, a really good young wrestler, bumped up to 220, wrestled Wyatt Rip of Lodi at the duel and barely lost to him. Rip, of course, ended up becoming a state runner-up. I just think you think of Blake Theory, a freshman, and Rafe Smart. I don't know if you got a chance to stand close to Smart, Steve, but I think this is where the physicality comes into play.
Sure. Yeah. Agreed.
And I think Smart would outmuscle here.
Yeah. Agreed. Better. I mean, a very tough Matt won. I do think Fury just got better and better as the year went on. I have to say, as a freshman should. So it'll be a good, very good match. I don't even think it'd be a major. I think it'd be closer than that.
Oh, I like it. Yeah, let's see if the folks at home have anything to say about the Smart Theory matchup. Let's hear it. But we both have Smart moving on. Next up here, we have Jed Scallon of Ithaca Weston and Chase Matthias of Two Rivers. Let me pull up my notes. Scallon placed 3rd in D3. Matthias placed 3rd in D2. So Scallon's only loss at state was to Grant Rydland, who I believe ended up becoming the runner-up. Matthias, just some results though from this year: 10-2 against Mirasola. He picked up his vengeance match against Kilgus. He lost a few matches to him this year. And then he lost to Ramberg. I think the score was 5-2 at state. And I think the theme of the 95-pound bracket, Steve, is like a lot of young guys who got hot at the end of the year. And that's gonna make this thing kind of wild when we talk about this. But I got to give the edge to Matthias in this one.
Yeah, agreed. I just think D2 was, we're going to hear this theme a lot with 195, but D2 195 was amazing. And so I'm going with Matthias.
Okay. Next up, we do have Grant Rydland of Ladysmith and Hunter Shue of Shiocton. This match was 10-6 at state. So Rydland, like I said, runner up. Shue ended up placing 4th. I forgot if they wrestled in the quarterfinals or the semifinals, but regardless, Rydland did win 10-6. And I should have maybe looked to see how the scoring went. Obviously, a 4-point match. A lot of things could have happened, but just from sitting in my chair at home, Steve, I think a 4-point difference would be tough to overcome, and I'd give the edge to Grant Rydland of Ladysmith.
Yeah, agreed. When that's our only thing to look at, really, right? That's what we got to go with. So I'm going with Grant as well.
Next up here, I mean, we're just getting right into a good match. Yeah, I mean, we're seeing a lot of good. I think most of our brackets have had really good 4-13 matchups. We got 13 seed Garrett Kilgus of Brilliant, placed 5th at state in Division 2. Some people had him pegged to win state at that division. Yes. I was one of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Gabe Klatt of Beaver Dam Wayland Academy. This is tough, Steve, because Garrett Kilgus had a great freedom invite with wins over Brock Arndt and Chase Matthias. But Klatt, after an early season loss to DeSormo, which I think might have been injury default anyways, it seemed like he just got really good really fast. And it just escalated over the course of the year. And I think, again, a young guy that peaked later at the end of the year, I'd give the edge to Klatt.
Yeah, Klatt. It's almost like he kind of got woken up as a sophomore, right? I mean, he kind of figured out like, oh yeah, I am pretty good, and then that just kind of escalated up and just gained in confidence. I got to watch him wrestle live 3 or 4 times. Tough sophomore, and I think the only thing that's going to keep him from a state championship is those kids from West Bend West that seem like they're all going to be around the same weight class as him. But yeah, tough kid. So I'm going with Klatt.
All right, moving on to, I mean, that'd still be a fun match to see. Max Ramberg, Baldwin Woodville, state champ, Division II, taking on Ezra Ducat of Kewanee, placed 5th in it, Division III. Oh, the Verbatins give the edge to Kilgis in that one.
Really?
The Verbatim. I'm sorry.
The Verbatins, yeah. Well, tell us what Michelle thinks, Matt.
I'm just gonna say Mad Michelle. Maybe that'll just be the gimmick. We have, and people will be lagging on like, oh, that's cool. They watch this as a couple.
Yeah, that's sweet. That's nice. They're sitting in the love seat with eating popcorn right
now. I don't know. I think I put in this one. Next round, there could be more enthralling arguments for either one, whether it be Ramberg to lose or Ducat to win. But I mean, this one is just straight up Max Ramberg.
Yes, agreed.
No disrespect to Ezra Ducat.
Right.
This one, Steve. This one is one we need to spend some time on. Yeah, we have Cale Hopke of Amory, Carter Grew of Abbotsford, Colby. Hopke runner-up in Division II. Grew ended up placing 4th in Division II. Hopke was 4-0 versus Grew, but each match got better and better. And this is a matchup where like I have to pick Hopke just based on the numbers, but I couldn't be upset at the people who pick Carter Grew in our fan poll, which has over 300 votes now, by the way.
Nice.
Yeah.
I told this Carter Grew story when we did the recap of state, and I just because I think it's hilarious. So I'm standing there and I'm watching Carter Grew come out for the semifinals. And Carter Grew's kind of got this little bit of a swagger, right? And he's a beast, right? What do you call him? The refrigerator with a singlet on? Isn't that how you reference him?
Yeah.
I mean, he's got like muscles on muscles, and he just like ripped, right? And 195-pound guy. I don't know if he's 6'2" or something like that. And he comes walking by with this swagger, and these 2 cops are standing there. And he goes walking by him, and Carter Grew gives those two cops a little nod, kind of like this. And he goes walking by, and both of them turn their heads and watch him walk away. And then they both looked at each other, and they had this look on their face like, man, I hope we never have to attempt. Let's just hope he's a good guy and keeps his stuff straight. We never have to attempt to arrest that guy because it'll never happen.
A timeless story. I love that Grew story. What do we? Oh, I'm sorry. Did you say I forgot what pick you had?
You know what? I as much as I want to pick Carter Grew because I really like the kid, just off results, I got to go with Cale. The D1 recruit for baseball pitcher.
This will not be the last we're hearing of Carter Grew, though.
No, absolutely.
I assure you that much. D1 pitcher, is it?
Yeah, he's going. I thought he's told me he's going somewhere in. I can't remember. It was one of the Dakota. It was either Indiana or the Dakotas. I don't know why. Those are 2 totally.
I know he has. I think he has Amory's career strikeout record, though.
Yeah, maybe.
Next up here, D1 heavy bottom quad here. Brock Arndt of Appleton North, Caden Hooker of Wanakee. So funny thing here, Arndt finished 3rd, Hooker finished 4th. Arndt did beat Hooker 5-1 in the 3rd place match, and 5-1. That's kind of the score where you controlled pretty well. Obviously, one thing can change that, but I'd still give the edge to Arndt in a rematch.
Yeah.
And then last match here. 2 seed versus 15 seed. Cole Mirasola, West Bend West. Roman Martell, Oshkosh West. Mirasola, state champ, 195. Martell placed 5th. I mean, it's Cole Mirasola. That's
agreed. Tegan, before you go to our semifinal or our quarterfinals, we have a new commenter, Stacy Hopkins, just letting us know that I don't know where I got Indiana from, but
North Dakota State.
Yeah, North Dakota State.
If I had to guess, I know we've had some Matt Michelle verbatim jokes here, but But I think Stacy Hopke, Byron Hopke's probably in on that viewing too.
You think so?
Oh yeah, yes, yeah.
Well, I'm gonna keep going with Stacy.
Okay, let's do a screen share. Also, Stacy / Byron, if you want to confirm, I think it was the career strikeout record that Kale broke. I think.
You mean who set? Like, do you mean like I struck out that? No, I'm just kidding. I'm trying to.
Kale,
Matt Verbatim might have been the strikeout. Had the most strike. Never mind.
Matt Verbatim struck out the most in high school.
There you go. That's
Is that
what I
what
was
you're
trying
going
to
to say? There we go.
He set the strikeout record.
195 pounds quarterfinals. Man, oh man. Rafe Smart of Stratford, Chase Mathias of Two Rivers, Grant Rydland of Ladysmith, Gabe Klatt of Beaver Dam, Max Ramberg of Baldwin Woodville, Cale Hopke of Amory, Brock Arndt of Appleton North, Cole Mirasola of West Bend West. And I think the consolation side is going to be just as exciting, right. But I did not have the time to fill that out. Okay, moving on to 220 pounds. Get a look at that bracket here. Also, we're sticking between 9 to 11 viewers, like in a little more consistency each time. That's what we like to see.
It is. I think as we get closer and closer to the semis and finals, I think we'll get the word will get out.
Next up here, and as we just get like better at the
that's right.
But the next up, 220 pounds. Starting off here, Jackson Mankowski of Madison La Follette versus Carson Westcott of Holman. I mean, what do you call him? The man child?
The man child.
Yeah. Some of the Holman coaches call him man cow, half man, right. Half cow. I mean, like, I think the nickname in itself just moves him on here, but Carson Westcott placed 6th in Division I, Mankowski state champ. Westcott lost to Gunther Switzer of MGM 11-6. Mankowski beat him 16-4. And that in itself, without even seeing those two wrestle, would be enough for me to swing that way.
Yeah. Mankowski's a beast. But
this one, 220 pounds. There was a lot of good ones in this one. There's a lot of like resumes.
Yep.
Next up, couple of third place finishers, David Gauderman of Wittenberg Burnhamwood and Isaac Pierce of Ashland, both third place finishers in their division. I mean, when I looked at Pierce's resume at first, I went through and he had a great year. And I looked at Gauderman's, and they both had like an early season loss. And then they went on a huge winning streak to pretty much end it. But what stuck out to me was Gauderman's loss was to Devian Ross, who ended up placing 4th at state in Division II at 220. Or sorry, I think it was 5th. And he ended up avenging that loss later. And then he had a tough loss to Cole Ebert in the semis. Mm-hmm. And Cole Ebert of Reedsville is a very tough wrestler.
Yep.
And I think Gauderman's 3rd place finish was tougher than Pierce's 3rd place finish. I don't know how else to put that, but I'd give the edge to Gauderman here. I think it'd be I'd say Gauderman wins by like 3 or 4, but I think Pierce would give him a good battle.
Everything you had, I had this exact same notes down, so I will repeat it. I don't know if you said this. Did you say that Gauderman beat Kilgus? Obviously, Kilgus is 195, but a win over Kilgus is a big win. So I'm going with
that is one I missed over in my notes. Yeah. So hey, that's why we have each other, right?
Well, it's a peanut butter and jelly.
Next one, Wyatt Rip of Lodi, runner-up in D2, taking on Teague Perkins of Richland Center. Almost had to go with Perkins just on the name here, but Perkins placed 4th in a Division II at 220. So this was interesting to see. Perkins pinned Rip at sectionals. Rip beat him 6-5 in the quarterfinals at state. My note here, I don't know if people are going to agree with this one, but in the hypothetical that they're wrestling the week after in this tournament and everyone's healthy and whatnot, if they have the same coaching, I just see Rip having a good game plan to pick up another win in the rubber match over Perkins.
Teague, take it to the pole.
Oh, you're going with Teague on this one.
Absolutely. Well, I like the first name, right? Well, hey, while he's creating the the poll for everybody to vote on. I got to tell you a little update on it. Stacey Hopke tells us he had 240 strikeouts, season 130 most, and game high strikeouts of 19. So Teague, here's my question. I think high school baseball, they don't play 9 innings. I think they only play 7 innings, right? So if my math is correct, that means 19 strikeouts out of 21 outs. That's pretty good. I'm just going with it was a no-hitter. That's just my call.
What was the score when HW got the pin? Oh, that's a good question, Tim Spray. Who wins? Oh, we're doing Wyatt. Rip. So I don't have that in my notes, Tim, but Tim brought up a very good point. And I talked about it a couple of times in the first episode of this, but you really need to think about context when you're looking at pins, because a pin can mean a guy dominated someone. A pin could also mean that a guy was getting dominated and they could have caught them in one bad position. So Tim, for HW, do you mean are you talking about the Rip Perkins match at sectionals? I guess I gotta wait. Oh,
now we gotta wait 30 seconds.
Oh, no, right? He's saying he. Steve, if you want to pass the time for a second, I can. I can find the sectional result, but
sure.
No, just going off of what you said, that would mean Cale Hopke struck out everyone but 2 people.
Right.
Everyone but 2 batters in the 7-inning game.
That's crazy. What was the score when he got the pin? Yeah, you'll have to check that out. I don't know.
I'm pulling up sectional C at Richland Center, bracket 220. Perkins got the fall in 540. It was 13-9 in favor of Rip. And I think, okay, so 13-9 in favor of Rip. Let me comment. 13-9 Rip.
Let her rip.
Okay, we got 50-50 right now. So while we wait for that one, we got a Gunther Switzer of Monona Grove McFarland, Cole Ebert of Reedsville. Ebert was the runner-up in Division 3. Switzer placed 5th in Division 1. My notes on this one, and Switzer's a good wrestler, Steve, but Ebert just had more dominant wins over common opponents, tougher losses overall. I just want to compliment Switzer, and we'll have more good stuff to say about him in 2 weeks too. He came around as the year went along, and he finished strong at state, but Cole Ebert, as we'll talk about more, just had a really good go.
Agreed. Yeah, in Reedsville, for being that small school, they really go out and seek out that competition. So I think Ebert has some of those, not that MGM doesn't, because obviously we know what conference they wrestle in, but for being that small school, they really go out and seek that competition. And Ebert just had bigger wins over, better competition. So I'm going with Ebert as well.
Okay, next up, we got, a couple of Teague names in this one. Wow, I'm getting pumped up for this 220 bracket. Didn't even think about it. Gavin Teagle, state champ of Cadott, 2-time state champion now. Steve, one of the first members of the Foot and Mouth Club, where we
in all good fun,
where neither of us picked him last year. Yeah. Yep. Ended up winning, and then he followed up with another win this year. And Devian Ross, really enjoyed watching him this year. I think I talked about him almost every episode after I saw him at the Cutler Classic, but Gavin Teagles is just on another level. That's just, without going too much into results, I think that's a fair assessment to make for a round 1 match.
Agreed. Cadott, what are they? The Hornets? Cadott Hornets? I should know that.
Yeah, you're the nickname guy.
I know. I tell you what, this cold or whatever I got is crazy. My brain doesn't work.
We have Aaron Botch of Beast and Will Hager of Oak Creek. Hager won 7-4 in the semifinals. I might take a page out of Tim Spray's book here. I gotta say I picked Hager, but now I kind of just want to see how that scoring went down.
You mean what was the 7-4? Like, was it a last second takedown to go up?
Yeah, we Something can. Like I can find that pretty quickly. Okay, D1 220. So it was
To fill time though, Bruce, top of the fifth, 0-0. Playing San Diego.
0-0, top of the fifth.
0-0. Yep.
Okay, so Hager got the first takedown. Then it was 2-3 in favor of Hager, and then ended up being 7-4. So Hager ended up getting 3 takedowns to Botch's 1. Okay, no, I still feel confident taking Hager there.
Agreed.
Now, oh man, now I'm going to look at even more results going in, look even deeper into the box score.
I was gonna, but when you're looking at all these different matches, it's, some of you just got to go with it. But I will definitely, once we get in the, quarters and probably definitely semifinals and finals, be really diving into those.
Matt, is there a way we can like Matt's comment?
Which one?
Swing hard in case you hit was my philosophy in baseball. That's
oh, you get 3 chances.
Yeah. No, my coach always said 3 good swings. That's all we can ask for.
Yeah. Even if you got your eyes closed.
Next up, we got Mason Wells of Pulaski, Cole Martin of Stratford. Again, another one I had a tough time with, and it's a 7-10 matchup, so it makes sense. But Pulaski finished third, Wells finished third in Division 1. Martin finished 4th in Division 3. They both wrestled in the same bracket at Bi-State. Martin didn't place. Wells got injured, and injuries kind of made this one a tough matchup to base off, Steve, because they were both hurt at separate times throughout the year.
Yep.
They had similar resumes. They both finished strong at state. I'd say Wells's state tournament impressed me a little more. And I mean, that's what I picked him on. I think, again, that's just you're splitting hairs at this point.
Yeah. Yeah. Excuse me. You definitely are. I apologize for that, everybody. In 220 and D1, really the whole weight class I thought was really impressive. And for Wells, how he did this year at that weight class, I'm going to give the nod to Wells.
And then last matchup we have here, we have Marshall Self of Ithaca Weston, placed 5th in Division 3, taking on, by random draw, just for everyone listening, by random draw, 2-seed Coy Hopke, 2-time state champ as a sophomore. Steve, again, one of those deals, just like we've talked about with a few guys tonight. I think we know we're going to be talking about Coy Hopke 3 more times, probably on the winner side of the bracket. And I think it's just safe to say that Coy Hopke is going to move on here.
Yeah, my notes earlier, I said, who were we talking about? And I said he had a 29-second pin in the finals. And, think about it. You're wrestling a guy who's earned his way to the state finals, and you pin him in less than a minute, in this case, 59 seconds. That's my nod.
Hopke, he wins the blink and you miss it award. I love to watch him wrestle. I didn't get many chances because you'd look away and he's done.
Right. I always kind of feel for those guys that really worked, right? It's like you in the semifinals, it's like, yes, I'm going to the finals. And then I wonder how long it takes for you to hit in to realize, like, oh shoot, who do I got to wrestle tomorrow night? And you already realize it, and
winning the Coy Hopke sweepstakes.
Well, I mean, we got several guys in the state that happens, right? But you end up, oh, now I got to go against Clayton Whiting, or
in this, yep.
Well, I wonder if
Ian Smith twice at 182.
Yeah, do you really enjoy the Parade of Champions just a little bit more? Are you just like, yeah, I'm just going to soak this all in because this is really the best it's going to get? It's kind of the same experience when you look at the bracket and realize tomorrow night I'm wrestling the finals against Coy Hopke.
We might need to ask someone.
Yeah. What's that like?
We'll ask a coach of a runner-up. Real quick, going through the 220-pound quarterfinals. We got Jackson Mankowski of Madison La Follette. We have Wyatt Rip of Jackson Mankowski of La Follette taking on David Gouderman of Wittenberg Burnhamwood. Wyatt Rip of Lodi, who won the fan poll, taking on Cole Ebert of Reedsville. Gavin Teagles of Cadott taking on Will Hager of Oak Creek. And then Mason Wells of Pulaski taking on Coy Hopke of Amory. Okay, moving on. 285, Steve. We made better time this time around.
Nice. Not bad.
Also, how am I lagging at all or anything?
Lagging, like walking slow or what? What do you mean lagging? Oh, you mean your sound? No, you're good.
Okay, beautiful. All right. Says my bit rates are a little slow, whatever that means. But
Bit rates?
okay.
Like your Bitcoin? You're buying some. Sorry.
It's a computer term that I don't even know what it. So if I don't know what it means, I just can't.
Right. Don't ask me.
Okay, 285. Get a quick look at this bracket. We'll talk about the first round matchup. And see, I just want to say I would give the edge to Robert Beasy of Amory. And I wouldn't just give the edge. I think Robert Beasy wins this one. D2 state champ. Jay Hansen was our play-in winner. Finished 6th in Division 1. But I don't know. I think Jay, if anyone could pull off the 16-1 upset, I'd give it to the Lat Drop King.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're president and founder of the Jay Hansen fan club, aren't you? With the Lat Drop, you're absolutely right. That's the thing with these heavyweight matches is I think anything could happen, right? That's the fun of. That's why you stick around at the end and watch the big boys because the bodies are going to hit the floor. But I was just impressed. I think Beasy and Hansen kind of when Beasy was a junior. Was very similar body style of Hansen. But I talked about this in a previous podcast. Beasy really took the offseason to reshape his whole body and lose some weight and get stronger. So I think he's a different heavyweight. So I'm going to go with Beasy.
Okay, both got Beasy. Moving on. Speaking of Beasy, got a comment from the Hopkeys here. Yeah, so if you didn't see the news, of course, Coy is going to be repping Wisconsin at the Worlds and Pan Ams.
Oh, nice.
And if there's a way to watch that, if you guys want to post that in here, whether it be on Rockfin or something, like just post that in the comments just so everyone knows where they have a chance to watch it. I mean, I didn't get a chance to see the matches, but I saw, I mean, it just, you can't put into hyperbole how good he is.
Nice.
And I think he's going to do great at the Worlds and Pan Ams.
You bet. Hey, so Tim put no as a comment. I don't know what it means. Does that mean he disagrees? Tim, does that mean he disagree with the results of the poll? I'm just trying to figure out what the no means, but
anyway. It might have been when you asked our bit rates Bitcoins too.
Oh no, I was totally joking.
The 30-second leg. It's kind of hard to play the 30-second leg into this sometimes.
Yeah, no worries. No, I know what Bitcoin is. I was just trying to, that was my attempt at humor. I know I'm not very good at it. I should stop trying.
No, this one is I thought it was going to be a good matchup at first. And then I looked at the results and Brody Zahn of Coleman, great wrestler, finished 3rd in D3. Jaron Rhodey of Stevens Point finished 3rd in D1. Steve, were you just as shocked as I was when you saw that Rhodey beat Zahn 11-2 at On the Water?
Well, yeah, I think I'm shocked when I see that score out of any heavyweight, right?
Oh, Tim said I'm not lagging. Sorry to interrupt you, but no, thank you.
It's good
to get another opinion on that.
Oh, I see. No, I mean, that's a pretty big for heavyweights. That's a pretty big gap.
So yeah, we got Rhodey, or I'm assuming Rhodey moving on. Okay, so yep. Coy Hopke will be on Flow. Argentina 2 hours different. Rome is 6-7 hour different. We'll find a way to make that work. Next up, we have 5 seed versus 12 seed. So Mike Nelson of Unity, who had a really impressive performance at State, Steve, runner up in Division 3, taking on Max Hudson of East Troy, who finished 4th in Division 2. And let me pull up my notes here real quick on this one. Mike Nelson, even with his runner-up performance, Steve, I mean, Division 3 heavyweight was pretty strong. And I knew Mike did a good job at State, but then I looked at the rest of his year and he just did awesome. I mean, his 3 losses were to Vito Massa, Wiley Dunn, whose loss he avenged at State, and Dylan Nottestad. And then I just think for me, most of Hudson's losses are pins, and Nelson is a big pinner. And I think I'd give this one to Nelson. If I had to bet what type of finish it would be, Nelson would pin Hudson.
Oh, sure. No, that's good analysis. I agree. Mike Nelson.
Okay, and next up we have Griffin Jonas, Manitowoc, Lincoln, and Griffin Empey of Stoughton. Empey beat Jonas 12-4 at State. If I had to guess, it'd either be a decision or a pin in this one, just because that's kind of the nature of Empey's style of wrestling. But yeah. I'd still give Empey the edge in the rematch.
Agreed. And if this was a week after the state tournament, I just have a feeling Griffin Empey is going to go on a vengeance tour of this whole next year. So I would go with that as well.
And next up, we have, speaking of the Vengeance Tour, we got Vito Massa of River Falls, winner of what might have been the most exciting match of the night, if not the state tournament. But
I got to tell you, I probably had more, I do the lean when I'm watching matches and stuff. You get the person next to you. I've probably watched more people, or I probably leaned into more people I didn't know in that one match than when I was watching Vito wrestle.
And my only notes on this one, I put Massa beat Empey, and Matt Jansen of Little Shoot posted about his 100th win this year. That was great, but I mean, Vito Massa, man, I'm just not picking against him right now. That I'm not making any arguments against him.
Right.
Next up here, we have Diego Morales of Cedar Grove, Belgium, who finished 4th in Division 3. Gunnar Hoffman of Neilsville, Greenwood, Loyal. Diego Morales is a big man. Mm-hmm. And he took part in a couple of that Division 3 heavyweight bracket, just all around, just was very impressive. And I give them props for how deep that bracket was. I think there could have been 3 or 4 different state champions in that bracket, to be honest, Steve. It was a good bracket, and Morales ended up 4th in it. Lost to Nottestad, who ended up winning in the ultimate tiebreaker. But then on the other side, you have Gunnar Hoffman, who his losses were to Teagles and Beasy. And otherwise, he just had a really dominant year, whether it was at 220 or heavyweight.
Yeah, you did the old switcheroo, Teague. I was like, oh, get the fan poll ready. I thought you were going with Diego. But yeah, for everything you just said, same research, I'm going with Gunnar Hoffman.
I would say Hoffman takes control in that one, but I think it'd still be a respectable score for sure. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Oh, this one I knew you'd have a fun time with, Steve. James Schaefbauer of Nakusa Assumption placed 3rd in Division 2. Nolan Vills of Sauk Prairie placed 4th in Division 1. To think that James Schaefbauer was placed 37th in the preliminary bi-state seeding.
That's crazy.
When I first heard his name this year. My notes here, similar resumes. Schaefbauer's win over Jay Hansen was pretty convincing, and he doesn't get pinned as much as Vills does, which I do think Vills is not as technical of a wrestler. I think that's a fair assessment. Mm-hmm. But Vills had a great state tournament and in a really good D1 bracket. So you kind of have momentum versus someone that you view as the better wrestler. And I got to give the edge to Schaefbauer here.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I based off what you were saying, I was kind of leaning obviously towards Vills just because local. I just really like to get. I watched him play football. He's could you imagine him as he was a fullback, right? Could you imagine trying to stuff your middle linebacker, trying to stuff him going up the 32 belly dive on 2-on-2. When we played against him and I was watching, I'm like, man, why is that coach just not running dives? Because this kid will get 3.5 yards every single time. Just a beast. But same thing. Vills just got pinned a lot, right? Also, he's in a match and boom, they got pinned. And I think if this one went the distance, that same result might happen. So I'm going with James as well.
Okay, last matchup up here, we got Wiley Dunn.
I was going to tell you, Matt agreed, and he also said Gunnar Hoffman by 4 over Diego, saying James by 5. Nice. Oh, you said we thought fall. Matt thinks James by 5.
I think it'd be a good match, but then Schaefbauer would get a pin. Yeah. Last one here, a little D3 action. Wiley Dunn, 15 seed, placed 5th from Whitehall in D3. Dylan Nottestad of Westby ended up being the state champ. Nottestad beat Dunn 5-1 at the Indy Invite, but he also beat Morales and Nelson, who beat Dunn at the state tournament. And I think it'd be a good match, but I'd still give the edge to Nottestad.
Yeah, agreed. The Dunn was, I know rankings are rankings, right? But Dunn was ranked number 1, I thought, almost for the whole year.
Well, he was the highest ranked returner in terms of like where they placed last year. And I think, again, it just speaks to the depth of Division 3. You have the champ versus the 5th place finisher, and I think it would be a good match.
Right.
But that's what we got for matchups. So let's
If anybody wants to get their closing argument or closing statement on the message board before we close up, probably wrapping up here in a couple minutes.
So we got in our quarterfinals for heavyweight, Robert Beasy of Amory versus Jaron Rhodey of Stevens Point. That is a dynamite 1-8 matchup there. Then Mike Nelson of Unity, Griffin Empey of Stoughton, battle of a couple of runner-ups. Vito Massa of River Falls, Gunnar Hoffman of Neilsville Greenwood Loyal. And then James Schaefer of Nakusa Assumption, used to be Port Edwards, and Dylan Nottestad of Westby. But that's what we got for our last quarterfinals, Steve. I guess for the people still got 7 listening. Thanks for tuning in. Average duration 11:10, 46 views overall. Hey, even though the video's done, if you want to share this to like your pages. I know like the Amory folk. Thank you, Matt and Michelle. Amory folk, we had a lot of guys up in the heavyweight classes that we were talking about. Feel free to share it out. Let's see how many people we can get by the end of tonight. I know we had a lot of fun with the people in the comments. We'll be dropping more podcasts too, but Steve, you got anything?
Yeah, no, I was just gonna let everybody know. I know I said this in the beginning, but if anybody has any suggestions, send them to us on social media. I am doing an all name team, right? We're gonna eventually hear all name team, past and present wrestlers. Maybe there's some names out there that I didn't think. Like for example, one of the names, I don't know if you guys knew this or not, and he will be on here, but he'll be at the whole totally different section. But 167 pounds, 1975, took 5th at state from Janesville Craig. John Madden's going to be on the all name team. So that's one that I'll throw out there. But
little teaser, I like it.
What's that?
Little teaser, I like it.
Yeah, a little teaser. There's like different names that just really fit the wrestling world. I don't even want to give you one because then I'd be giving a couple names. But when you look at a name and you're like, man, that's a really good wrestling name. So if anybody has any of those and throughout the history of the state of Wisconsin, definitely send them my way and I'll see if they make the list.
Love to hear. Well, yeah, we got some more podcasts planned until we get to Fargo season. This is going to take us right into Fargo season, maybe through it a little bit, but
before we'll be doing sectional previews.
Until you watch or listen to us next time, folks, we will catch you on the flip side.